What's going on, everybody? Azilor146 here, and today I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to save Josh in the Until Dawn remake, along with the achievement titled We Need to Talk About Josh. Now, before I get into it, it should be very important to know that at the time of me making this video, I have found that there's not been a clear answer nor a definitive way to save Josh, so with that being said, this video could be outdated very quickly. So as such, this guide is going off based by assumption via my first playthrough where I managed to do it myself. The link's in the description if you want to check it out for further detail. But I will also be putting updates in the description in case at any point more information comes out that, well, may contradict points I've said throughout this video. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Now again, before we get into specifics, it's important to get the obvious steps out of the way to save Josh. For one, you do have to save everyone, at least until the very final chapter in, well, the Lodge Showdown for one, as Josh cannot see any of his other friends dead in the lair, cause if he does, then he'll still succumb to the Wendigo curse no matter what you've done up to that point. Now, something else worth mentioning, as I've been seeing tons of misconception over on Reddit, is that nothing you say to Dr. Hill directly actually matters to the overall story, other than variations of the same general dialogue. I have watched a couple of playthroughs and found that nothing you choose before his second to final scene in the game has no role in how Josh survives, even the part where you choose the character you don't like the most. So, in other words, for anyone playing, don't stress about replaying that part. Okay, so how do we trigger this specific dialogue on screen here? This is where most people get stuck on. So how do we get Josh to go from saying they need the change to I'm sorry, thus Josh having the ability to feel remorse for his actions? So while I'm not 100% sure, I am to believe that the dialogue itself is based on how you interact with Josh throughout the entire game. Now, with all that said, the first step to ensure Josh's survival is your first few interactions with him as Chris in Chapter 2. For the first one, choose worry over gossip, as that will give a slight increase in their relationship status. Then when you walk up to the lodge window, agree with them at least once, both for a much larger increase, to be safe in other words. Then when we play as Sam again for the first time in Chapter 2, you will enter the bottom floor of the lodge with Josh, where you will be first presented with either the mocking or the flattering option. Choose flattering, as mocking will give you a decrease. Then, when you go down to the boiler room, grab the baseball bat and choose the serious choice for another boost, because again, if you choose the humorous option, you will get a decrease. Finally, when Josh and Sam hear a noise, you'll have the choice to either be heroic or concerned as Sam. Choose heroic for the final boost, and from here, you'll be done as Sam. For now, anyway. Now we will be moving on towards Ashley in the seance scene very briefly in Chapter 3, with only two dialogue options that really matter this time around, with her relationship to Josh here. For the first choice, choose serious, as flippant will result in a decrease instead. Then, after you ask whose sister, choose apologize, and you'll get the only boost you can with Ashley in the game, with Josh. Now, when we get to the end of Chapter 4, we will be presented with one of the bigger choices that will ensure Josh's survival. That is the choice to either save Ashley or Josh in the saw trap. It should be a no-brainer to save Josh here, because despite him quote-unquote dying in the saw trap anyway, this does put a boost with his relationship with Chris, and will even be nice to him in the shed scene later on, that of which we will also get into later. Now our next point will be at the end of Chapter 5, where you will try to escape the psycho as Sam. Now, just a disclaimer before I get into it any further, at this time I am not sure if how you play this scene affects the outcome of Josh's survival, but just to be safe, do not attack him with the vase or the baseball bat. It does not matter at all whatsoever if you escape or if you fail as far as I know, but since I escaped in my playthrough, I suggest you do the same as well. So now at the end of Chapter 6, there will be another situation like Sam's where you can stab Josh with the scissors. Now again, I do have to reiterate that I am unsure at this time whether this contributes towards the remorse option for Josh, so To get straight to the point, if you want to get it for sure, I recommend that you do not stab Josh with the scissors. Now we will be making probably the most significant choices thus far, towards the end of chapter 7, where Mike and Chris confront Josh. When prompted to, scold Josh, as upon doing so, another dialogue will appear where Chris can feel skeptical about Josh killing Jess, yet again, putting another boost in their relationship stat. After that, choose the defensive option and call Josh a coward. Then, for your final choice as Chris, disarm Mike, as for the last time playing as Chris, you'll get another boost, and when you look at your chart, you should see your Josh stat should be pretty high. So now for the moment where we actually make the choice that sets up his survival, and more importantly, where probably most of you have been stuck at. At the very end of chapter 8, when you talk to Dr. Hill as Josh, you'll be presented with 2 dialogue options. The first one shouldn't matter, but most people such as myself have chosen "they hurt me." But now for the second one, it's very mandatory to choose, and hopefully if you've done all the steps right to this point, you should be prompted with the option to say, "I'm sorry." And upon doing so, we'll start the "a second chance" branch on the butterfly effect, as you'll see up top. Now, if you played the original, you probably already know this, but for newer players who are trying to get this achievement, you do also have to find the scrawled journal in the final chapter before you find Josh, which you can do so by going towards the left side of the pool area in the mines. Then, once you read all the pages, you will see the butterfly effect prompt come up once again. Then there you have it. Like I said in the beginning, make sure to save everyone up until the final lodge confrontation, and by the end of the game, you should see the cutscene as well as the trophy pop up. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back because you did the impossible. If you guys enjoyed this guide and want to see more out of me, then please leave a like and subscribe along with turning on the notification bell. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you've gathered the information needed. Peace.